Ever since I was a little boy, this was my grandfather's boat. I learned how to fish on this boat since about 5th grade. My grandfather would take us out catfishing, he would take us out crappie fishing, took us out boating, and he passed away in 2015. And the boat ever since then has been sitting and rotting. I was able to get a hold of the boat, which was being held at my sister's house, and there is a lot of work that needs to be done. But I believe that this boat has a whole lot more fishing left to do on it. So let's get busy. Grandpa's boat rebuild. We're getting ready to start the pontoon boat build. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure to go down there, hit the like, and subscribe to our channel for more all kinds of stuff. This is Team Tate Outdoors, and let's build the pontoon boat that my grandfather raised me fishing on. Got a lot of love in this boat. Here we go. Well, before we can work on the boat, I had to yank it off the trailer because the trailer's broken. Of course it is. My grandpa always drove with this trailer leaning to one side, and now I know why. There was a broken shackle, and well, I got to get this fixed before we can ever get the boat back on here and take it to the water. So let's get this fixed first, and let's move on to the boat.
What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to lift this up. You see those axles flexing like that? We're going to have to bring this up and tighten it to here after we grind this all out. So we're going to prep this right now. All right, well, we're lined up, but we definitely need to be over some. All right, that'll get me a little bit farther where I want to be. Yeah, there we go. Now that we've got this part welded up, I need to spray all these pieces right in here with some lube, some WD-40, because I have to take this loose and slide the axle forward. So I've got that axle moved over even with that other one. We're gonna go ahead and tighten these up. Woo! Trailer is done. Now all we gotta do is get a new tire and rim on that side, grease all our bearings, and we'll be ready to do the decking on the boat. So let's move on. All right, guys, now that we've got the trailer all done, it's time to start really working on the boat. Now, something I didn't film, during school, Maddie had a tennis game or something that I had to go and deal with. My buddy Derek came over and he stripped the entire pontoon boat while I wasn't here. So we didn't film any of the taking the boat apart. But you know what it looked like. And now
It's just in boat pieces everywhere. And we've already painted. So this is outdoor plywood that we painted both sides with an oil-based paint, 2 coats. And now we're putting it all together, just bolting it down. Not really that hard to do. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get it back up on the trailer so we can put it in the garage so that we can put this big rolling floor on. It's been a lot of work. I haven't filmed like any of it because we've got about 100 different things going on and I just don't have time to pull the camera out and film it. So I'm gonna try to film today. We're gonna be putting some of these boards on. Basically, we're just drilling the holes through them, putting in these, they're carriage bolts, but they've got like the little teeth things. I'll show you one. These things right here. They have a square your carriage bolt sits in, compresses into the wood so that you can unbolt them later without them spinning when the wood rots a little bit. All right, let's get to work. Now I gotta go underneath.
Once I got all the carriage bolts installed on the top, then I've got to take my drill and go underneath with the washers and the nuts to lock it all down to the boat.
And we put a PVC flooring on it and the spilt glue on the stinking thing and ruined it like this, but it's still good, still waterproof, but it just looks really bad. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut the edges, start putting all the holes in, line this thing up, get the console mounted, get the seats mounted, put the fuel tank in, put the motor on, and we're gonna see if we can get this thing running. So stick with us, probably gonna time lapse through a lot of this. It's gonna take some time. Here we go, Grandpa's boat rebuild. You're watching Team Tate Outdoors. Let's get to it.
Now, most of the time, people put on either carpet or something like an AstroTurf on the flooring. We decided to go with this PVC flooring that we got from Marine Vinyls online. This floor for this piece was close to $1,000. I don't recommend going with that if you're just going to build a fishing boat, but I wanted something that wasn't going to rot later on down the road. Once we got the floor on and the side rails on, we brought it in to mount the motor, Very easy thing to do. Hooking up the motor is a more complicated task.
Now I bought this motor without actually listening to it run. I did a compression test on it, had good compression, it turned over. We have to replace one little small module thing, and then we're gonna wire it up and hook some water to it, and we're gonna see if we can get this joker started and see if it'll even run. All right guys, well, today is the moment of truth. We don't have the whole motor hooked up like everywhere, but we do have it hooked up enough to run it. I just gotta put the fuel line on here. We're gonna be good to go. I gotta put my ears on it. I just had to run to the store and buy these. Can't believe I have 3 boats in Miami, Florida. Do all this stuff every day, sell all my boats, and I don't have nothing. Gotta rebuy everything. All right, these are our ears so that we get water flow through the boat. I picked up a double-sided, and I'm glad I did because this one has both sides. Okay, now let's get the fuel line hooked up. Here. Okay. That's that. Let's turn the water on and see what we got. Okay guys, cross your fingers. I've tightened all the plugs. There's only one line that's cut over here that I don't know where it goes. If water spits out of it, I'm gonna shut it off and I'll figure it out. If it doesn't, I'm gonna let it run. Okay, here we go. Babe, go shut the water off for me. Yeah. Guys, we are good. We have a good running motor. It actually sounded really strong. All we did was put fresh fuel in it. I still need to block off the one wire to the beeper because it's saying that it's low oil. Because we did shut off we blocked off our VRO, which I don't know if you guys can even see that. Let's see here. Let me turn this a little bit. So right here is our VRO pump, and we turned it, we shut it off. We had to take the wires off because I'm not going to be having oil injection anymore, which is why this has a bolt in it. We're now pre-mixing the fuel so that we don't ever have to worry about our motor not getting the right amount of fuel. This was the only part that was broken. When I bought this motor, they gave me the part and they said, hey, you need to fix this. So I replaced that already. She started right up. I'm super happy, but I do have one little hose that I got to figure out where this water line goes to, and then we'll be good to go. All right, she's on the boat. Time to get the rest of the boat put together. We're gonna try to hit the water in a couple days. All right guys, next thing we're gonna do, now that we got the boat motor running, packed it in there here in the garage, and we're going to go ahead and take off this old steering system. Now this steering system would have been for a tube that came through here and you hooked up, and that would have moved, this would have bolted to the side of it, and this would have slid in and out. However, we're going to be hooking up a ram system that's hooked to our console already, and it's going to give us hydraulic steering. So we got to take this off, and then we're going to install our ram tubing and stuff. Find me a little wrench. There might be a wrench sitting right there. I think it fits this. Right inside, right there past the rail. Alright guys, what we're doing here, we're just now mounting the throttle. We put a piece of starboard between our two side rails here, and we're just mounting it where I can control the throttle. I'm thinking this is gonna fit. Oh yeah, there we go. Alright, so amongst doing everything else, I've got to start kind of knowing where my wiring's gonna go. So I looked at my trolling motor. We're going to center the trolling motor here. I marked a spot right here where I'm going to drill a 1-inch hole, and I'm going to mount this piece. This is my plug to my trolling motor. It'll go and it'll mount just like that. And so this little plug will be sitting up wherein we'll plug this one from the trolling motor into it. That's what I'm going to send down in there. Pretty long wire. There we go. Now all I got to do is anchor that right there, and I'm good to go. Later I'll come back behind this and I'll put some caulking right in here. Okay, well, good news is we're far enough, but we got to make sure our battery will fit in our boat box. These are our seats. This is where I want to put the boat batteries, is inside here. I got to make sure that they're going to fit. Hey, it looks like they're going to fit. Yes, sir, they're going to fit. Perfect. Okay, looks like they're going to fit. So that's where my trolling motor batteries are gonna go. And I think maybe I can put my charger somewhere else, or maybe slide the charger in here as well to charge them all. All right, now that we got the wire ran basically from the plug of the trolling motor, now we need to put our trolling motor, mount our trolling motor. The problem is we have a rail here that is gonna be in our way. So I've marked where I need to cut off. So we're gonna cut this off, come down here, and then we'll anchor some screws so that goes flat. The trolling motor is going to come right up flush to the deck. This box right here will. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like that. Alright guys, now that I've got my holes drilled, I gotta get my silicone. I want to put silicone underneath where the bolts are gonna go. Okay, now the last thing we gotta do is go underneath and put the washers on under here. Put the washers. Ooh, look at that. I almost hit them wires. Thank you, Lord, that I missed them. That would have been bad. But I did miss them. Got her bolted on. Got all the nuts and washers on. Last thing we gotta do, flip it on. Sits flat. Install our keeper. Basically this connects the bottom piece with the one that's mounted to the boat, and sometimes they are tight. I made this one a little bit tight, so I don't have to ever worry about it getting stolen. There we go. We're gonna move on to the lights since we're up front. We've got a couple little navigation lights. And these ones I like because you can't, even if they're not on, you can't screw them up because one's on one side and you can't accidentally put it on the wrong side. Wires down that hole. Line that up right where it needs to be. Move those out of the way.
There's my pilot holes, my marks. I'm only going to the metal because the screw, I want the screw to sink in the wood. Spin that around, make sure that's lined up right. Set them in there. Put that on. Cap it, and all we gotta do is tie the wires in once I get that console put on. All right guys, well it's the next day. We went to church this morning and now it's time to drill our holes and send our wires and our throttle cables into the floor. So what I've done, I've cut an X here and I've drilled one hole, but it's slightly not big enough to get my big metal piece up because it's coming right through this way on the floor. So I need to drill a little bit bigger hole. All right, let's see if it'll work. I'll send that cable up through there and see if it'll go.
Yeah.
All right, so basically our throttles are here, and you don't have to do this, but because it's an aluminum boat, I decided to just put an additional piece of like protection for bouncing around, stuff that'll scuff these up. So it's not needed, but I'd rather be better safe than sorry. Okay, now let's go up front and pull this other one up.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew. All right, now let's get it all hooked up. All right, so now we need to take these and these rods, make sure we stick them all through here before we go bolting anything up, because that's going to be our, there we go. I'm hoping I've got enough room with that motor for these steering cables or these throttle cables. We're going to see. It's going to be close. All right, so now we need to check, see if it's going to clear with the motor in the down position, like if we were running. Okay. Let's trim it all the way up and see what happens.
How
Okay,
often
guys.
will you be driving it that way?
I think we're gonna be good, guys. We are like, if we'd have been 2 inches that way, we'd have been 2 short. So, I mean, on the money. A little bit short for what I want, but it's gonna work.
Hmm.
That's that one. Okay, got how to hold that thing. All right, now since we've finished with our cables, now all we gotta do is just get this set in here, get our screw back in there, and we're good to go. There we go. All right, now we gotta get our power wire up out of the way. Fill my excess up. Make sure I've got plenty of room.
Now moving on to the steering. This is the fuel line. It's the old fuel line. I might change it out because it's making my hands black. Because it's an old line. All right, so here's what I did. I sent my pipe in there, but I put this 1-inch PVC in that pipe, pushed it up in there, tied a lead rope onto it, and left the lead rope in this pipe, and tied it off to the hose and pulled it out. And then I also tied a secondary lead rope and left the slack up in there so that I could pull the secondary one out. If you don't do that, you'll be having to do it all over again. So make sure if you have 2 lines that you tie a secondary lead rope onto your first line so that it pulls a new lead rope out for your second hose. Now I'm going to do this all over again, pull the next one through. So I got my ram, hydraulic lines ran to it. They're going to have to be bled still. Loosened up one side now, and I'm going to have to take off one spacer. It's going to have to go to the other side. Okay, I'm in there. See if I can get this other spacer. Hopefully I've got 2 spacers on here. I may need both of them, I may not, I don't know yet. Alright guys, so what we have to do, we had to put the screw in from the bottom and thread it up, and then the little nut will sit on top, which is probably the best case scenario. It's probably actually how it was supposed to be done anyways. I just can't remember because I didn't have the kit, I don't have the instructions, so I'm just kind of trying to go off of memory. So I'm hoping everything is going to work out just fine. If we've got any kind of hydraulic fluid left. Hey, look at there. Bam.
Oh, that's not gonna, no, that's, okay, that's fine. Is there a way we can lift it higher?
I haven't tightened it up yet.
No, like, lift this, so it gets caught there.
Okay. Alright, so guys, that's gonna work.
So
I'm
that,
gonna have to
that
lift
catches.
these. Yeah, but now that that's tight, now I can go ahead and tighten these bolts up. Because you don't want to tighten that until you know how tight your other, same thing. No. Where's my other
Different.
Alright guys, well we've got it. This is pretty much the finished product for the throttle cables and the power wire kind of coming up, and then this is our hydraulic steering anchored up out of the way so that the trailer doesn't hit it. This one's not going to hit the trailer when we pull forward, so that's going to be fine. Comes up into here, and then we have our hydraulic lines looped around, passing through a rubberized piece right here. It's right above our extra power wire. So we got just enough space for all that to hang in there so it doesn't get pulled and mess around. There we go. That's how it's gonna look. And it's late tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. I bet it's after midnight. Again, even though the house is done, I like working into the night. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, well, now that we got all the console put on, we didn't film actually screwing it down, but here it is. We put some silicone on underneath them, and we screwed each screw down. The reason it took so long is I had to match up all my wiring underneath. I put a hole in there and sealed it and caulked it. Had to run the steering wires through there. We got the seat mounted now. Put a battery box in. We got the steering cables ran that we did earlier. So that's all on. I ran the back light, so that just pull this, pick it up like that, and then it's up. So we can have that when we lower the top down. Right now we're hooking up the seats. Just got done screwing this one seat down, and we're fixing to put in the top rest. Yeah. Oh yeah, snug as a bug. Let's get down there, Eli, and push this wire down. Right through there in that little tiny hole, that's where we're gonna put these wires.
You got it? I got one up there. Got one up there. And I got two. You got them up there?
Yeah, so they're going right through up there. Yeah, pull up one. Alright.
I got a hole up behind this. So I'm gonna pull this out.
Let's shift this seat over a little bit. Just come on, get in there, man. Let that cool for a second. I like to mesh those wires together. And there you go. Next is going to be hooking this to this right there. All right. Those are good. How do I know? Because the lights are on. This is what just hooked that up. There we go. All right, all the wiring is done. Now I just gotta clean this thing up, put the batteries in this box, and wire those all up in sequence so that I get 3 12 volts together to make a 36 volt battery. Everything is wired, attached, ready to go. We just got to clean up the mess and put the lights on it for bow fishing, and we're ready to go. But for this, we can catfish. You ready to go fishing? All right. Let's go get this thing on the water. All right, guys. Well, we have got the boat to the boat ramp. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything set up, and we're gonna see if we get it launched. And we're gonna try to shoot some fish tonight. Look, mouse nest. Huh. All right, let's see if she'll work. Back me in a little bit more. All right, guys. Looks like she's running so far. It's running, it runs good. We're gonna go drive it a little bit. Got the lights turned on, the deck's lit up, everything's working properly. The only thing that happened on the way over, the bolt in the throttle, it was a cheap throttle from China, and it got loose. We had to take the throttle off and tighten that bolt. It's back to normal, we're good to go. We'll see how this thing runs. All right, guys, let's see if this thing's gonna run. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Fish. Well, guys, we did a little bow fishing off the boat tonight. Here's what we got.
About knee deep.
Yeah, that's some fish. Boat works good. So, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, we'll see you on the next video, guys. Hope you like the boat build.